Hey, Shalom, Shalom, on the stuff. So, but giving no praise to Yahweh, Shemel, Shaba, Shemakakudash, that belongs to the apostles of GMS and honestly brothers in the work of the Most High in truth and sincerity. This is Pope Francis endorses wickedness. Says they have the right to be a family in their family. That's what he said. And where's that in the scriptures? This is the question Apostle Tar always asks. A vocab, you going to be doing videos rebuking this? I don't know if USA Today actually has comments. I'll be interested to see if there are actually any comments on this site. It's to, I like reading comments. Just you see where people's minds are at. Can't really see any comments here. But a vocab, we expect you to be condemning this, but you ain't going to, right? Because your whole thing is to be getting on the Israelites, because really you ain't about the truth. You ain't for doctrine, man, right? But here, at GMS, following in the example set for us by our apostles and our teachers, right? When we see wickedness, when we see madness, we report on it. And what this here the Pope has said is madness, is wickedness, man. Right? So Pope Francis became the first pontiff to endorse homosexuality in comments for a documentary that premiered Wednesday, sparking cheers from abusers and demand for clarification from conservatives, given the Vatican's official teaching on the issue. Right, and it ain't the Vatican's official teaching on the issue. They claim that their book is the scriptures, and the scriptures are very plain. In fact, let's get what the scriptures say. Right, the official book of what do you call it, of Catholicism. It's Leviticus 20 and 13. If a man also lie with mankind, right, and for clarification, as he lies with a woman, right, I mean, basically meaning, because you get these people that what it just says lie doesn't mean, they have sex. That's what's clarified. It says as with a woman, right? It says both of them have committed an abomination. They shall surely be put to death, and their blood shall be upon them. All right. So basically, if a man, two men commit, engage in this kind of act, right? Then both of them have sinned, and the recompense for their sin is death, right? And what is it? It says their blood shall be upon them, basically meaning they got their judgment, right? Now, why is it such a law, right? And I remember speaking to someone when I was someone I went up, I grew up with, when he was in uni, and he basically said, it was like, you know what, one thing uni teaches you, because you're around so many different people, right? You're around gay people, was the example he gave, right? You realize actually they're just normal people. That's what he said, right? And then from that moment, this is years ago, from that moment I understood why the scriptures said they have to be taken out of the game, right? Because it's a cancer. And what does the scriptures say, right? Is it Philippians, is it? No, Galatians 5 and 9 says a little leaven leaveneth the whole lump. Right? And that's why the scriptures, why the law is written in the way it is, because you might have someone that is like I said, these people in the world, they was like, oh, he's nice, they were okay people, right? That's what they were saying, right? Where scripture says a gift destroyeth the hearts. Fish, if you ain't got the scriptures and the fish gives you stuff, you might be like, hey, that fish is okay. You might be like, fishes are okay. But then now you've basically you've been subverted. And that's what Esau has done, right? Through the media, through his witchcraft, he has subverted the minds of the people to think that these abusers of themselves, mankind, right, that they're okay. But this isn't the case. They have a serious mental illness. Like, when you genuinely consider what it is that they're doing, it ain't right, right? It ain't right, right? But it's an unclean and filthy spirit that the Lord has put on them, right? In fact, just prove that it's the Lord that did it. That's why you got to fear the Lord, because the Lord can put a vile spirit upon a man, and then judge that man for having that foul spirit on him, right? It's Romans 1:26, for this cause the Most High gave them up unto vile affections. So it's the Most High that gave them up to vile affections. For even their women did change the natural use into that which is against nations. He's talking about these female abusers of themselves, right? Because, and that's a big thing in this world. You speak to an average woman in the West. Oh yeah, I've kissed a girl. Oh, I've slept with a girl. That's just normal these days, right? But it ain't normal according to scriptures. It's normal because this is a wicked world, and this is one of the reasons why it will be destroyed. Right, and that's one of the scriptures we gonna get, right? So even their women did change the natural use into that which is against nature, and likewise also the men leaving the natural use of the woman was the natural use of the woman, right? To pop her, to bend her over, right? To put seed up in her, right? Burned in their lust one toward another. And this is once again vile affection. When you genuinely consider and you contrast, you think about, sorry to get vulgar, but you think about how good pussy is, man. But these man aren't even attracted to that. They're attracted to other men. You think about that. It's just like, yo, it's bugged out. It's a vile affection. It's disgusting, right? Burning that lust one toward another, and that's a demon, man. That's a heavy demon. Right? It says men with men working that which is unseemly, and receiving in themselves the recompense, that recompense of their error, which was meat. Once again, right? Uh, Basically saying they whatever it is that they get because they deserve it. It says, and even as they did not like to retain the Most High their knowledge, the Most High gave them over to a reprobate mind to do things which are not convenient, and that is not convenient, right? It's nothing but death. That's why Esau pushes it, right? Precepts I bring out more or less every lesson. I do Habakkuk 2, right? And 5. He is as death. Esau is as death. So when he has a reason to push out some kind of wickedness that's going to cause death, he's going to do it. And this is one of those things. You can't watch a TV without one of them alphabet people coming up, right? It says that being filled with all unrighteousness, fornication, wickedness, covetousness, maliciousness, full of envy, murder, debate, deceit, malignity, whisperers, backbiters, haters of the Most High, despiteful, proud, boasters, inventors of evil things, disobedient to parents, without understanding, covenant breakers, without natural affection, implacable and unmerciful. It says, who knowing the judgment of the Most High, that they which commit such things are worthy of death, not only do the same, but have pleasure in them that do them. And Jake falls in this category, mainly the Israelite woman, right, the nigger woman, right? They fall into this category of, they don't know, yeah, Bible says, it's not good to be lesbian, whatever, but it is what it is, right? Or they'll be in the category of, I'm not lesbian, but then they'll have gay friends, this, that, and the other, right? That is having pleasure in them that do them. Right now, hey, we rebuke, man. That's what we do. We meet a woman, she's like, oh yeah, do this, and then back in your mind, you think you fucking demon, right? All right, so but yeah, this is what do you call it, the Pope? Yeah, Pope Francis endorses, this wickedness here. Says they have a right to be a fan. That ain't in the scriptures. Once again, showing you that Christianity's got nothing to do with the scriptures, right? And earlier on in the day, what do you call it, saw this article. It says Barrett was trustee at private school with anti-gay policies, right? So this is the Supreme Court nominee, Amy Barrett, right? And they're basically getting on her because she taught at a school where, you know, where they basically were put. Let me just read it. It's the Supreme Court nominee Amy Coney Barrett served for nearly 3 years on the board of a private Christian school that effectively barred admissions to children of same-sex parents and made it plain that openly gay and lesbian teachers weren't welcome in the classroom. And why is that? We read that in Galatians 5 and 9, right? Little leaven, leaveneth the whole lump, right? And that's why it's been spreading like wildfire. Once again, the example, and scriptures give examples in ways that make it easy to understand, right? So if you've ever done any baking, if you add, you look at a loaf of bread, right? Make a loaf of bread, depending on the kind of yeast and the proving that you're doing. A 7 gram packet of a yeast is enough to make a loaf of bread, right? And that's a little leaven, right? But guess what? You leaven the whole lump. That whole thing is now leavened, right? And from a little bit there, it makes the whole thing grow. Right? So what do? You gotta cut it out. You gotta cut it out, right? But reason I get, this whole Amy Barrett thing has been of interest to me is because all of these news publications, they're complaining about her. Why? Ultimately, because she, not saying she follows the scriptures, but the things that certain of the things that of her, religion or crap type of Christianity or whatever, is things that are more closely aligned to the scriptures. So, for instance, you see one here. A big question around it was about, but her views on abortion, right? And would you call it, another thing is in a thing, right? Basically, women are below the men. And I'm thinking of these three things, like, well, but that's exactly what the scriptures say. But so what is that therefore proving to you? It's proving that America is a filthy, disgusting place. Right? They claim to follow the scriptures, but no, they don't. Right? So let's read this. This is 2 Peter 2 and 6. Right, it says, and turning the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah into ashes, condemned them with an overthrow, making them an example unto those that after should live ungodly. So they have the example. But have they followed the example? No. They have not followed or rather, have they taken heed to the warning? That's really what I should have said, right? You might see, and that was the reason why you had what do you call it? Public things were done in public. Let me find that. This is First Timothy 5 and 20. Just kind of break this out. First Timothy 5 and 20. It says, "Them that sin rebuke before all that others also may fear." All right. So even in our times, someone goes off, get rebuked, right? Rebuked in a way makes everyone be like, "Yo, that, hey," puts the fear of the Most High into everyone, right? But in the ancient world, for instance, if you what do you call it, committed adultery, yeah, you got dealt with in public. If you had a disobedient son, he got dealt with in public. Why? Because then people would see it and they'll be like, "Yo, I ain't trying to be like that." Right? Puts the fear. So if would you call it, if you had someone in Israel that where that homosexual demon was trying to jump on that particular individual, and then he went out and watched someone get stoned for that same act, guess what that person is going to do? He's going to do his best. He's going to pray. He's going to be like, "Lord, hey, don't let this demon jump upon me," because he's just seen what happened to the other man. Right? When you see no recompense for your action, guess what? You just carry on doing it. Right? And in fact, let me grab this. This is Amos 8 and 11. Is it Amos or Ecclesiastes? It's Ecclesiastes, of course. Ecclesiastes 8 and 11 says, "Because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily, therefore the heart of the sons of men is fully set in them to do evil." Right? Now, because the Most High is not judging, all of these things immediately, people think, well, actually, there's no problem doing it. So guess what they do? They just carry on doing it. Little do they know that the Most High is just writing it all down for a set day when everyone's gonna get the recompense of their actions. Right? I always like to think of it as you touch a hot stove. You touch a hot stove, you get burnt immediately. You ain't touching that hot stove again. But if you don't feel the pain, guess what? You lean on that stove, right? You won't think twice about it. You just lean on it. And then guess what? At a set point, your hand, you're going to look at your hand's going to be all burnt up, all withered away. And that's what these people's going to happen to these people spiritually, physically, actually. Right? Because they're doing all this wickedness. They're not being burnt for it. So they think, oh, I can just put my hand there all the time. I can just do this all the time. Until one day they're going to be burnt up and withered away. Right? So yes, this is where were we? This is verse 2 Peter 2:7. It says, and delivered just Lot, vexed with the filthy conversation of the wicked. And we're vexed with the filthy conversation of the wicked. Listening to these people speak, I was at the job, listening to this woman basically, cursing out homeopathy, which, is, for the most part, from my understanding of it, is basically mainly more toward using the herbs as opposed to using chemicals for treating your ailments, right? And then she basically started cursing at them, so-called Asian countries which use tiger bones and blah 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 blah. And it's like, oh, I can't believe some people use tiger bones, think that's gonna help. And I'm thinking, but wait there. Look at your corona vaccine, for instance. I was reading an article basically saying, several 100,000 of sharks are at risk because they're gonna need that many for the corona vaccine. Then they've also got the something crab, the horseshoe crab, right, which they use to test the what do you call it, whether the vaccine is quote safe or not, right, whether it's got any contaminants in it or not. And I'm like, but wait, how's that any different? Right, but that's that Edomite pride because they made it. They think it's okay, but that's I was vexed. But those ones you just got to bite your lips. Like, look, I'm at work. Let me just do what I'm doing, right? And that's what we're hoping. We're hoping to be delivered, right, from these, from this wicked kingdom, right? Not to be caught up in the destruction that is to come, right? It says, vexed with the filthy conversation of the wicked, and we are vexed. Right, so for that righteous man dwelling among them and seeing and hearing vex his righteous soul from day to day with their unlawful deeds. Right. Ooh, with their unlawful deeds. That's it. So this is Paul writing this, right? So the law was still in effect, right? The law was still in effect. He doesn't say which was at the time an unlawful deed, right? And the proof of that is we'll say certain things. Right, for instance, we talk about the law of sacrifice. We'll be like, yeah, there was a law of sacrifice. However, Yahweh Shah was the ultimate sacrifice. Can't be, you can't trump that sacrifice, right? So that's been done away with. So we will explain that. But here, Paul is saying, look, man, they were doing unlawful deeds. It was against the law, right? So even in that, that's proven that the law isn't done away with, right? But yeah, as always, laws without edifying. And yeah, if you ever need more proof that this is a wicked kingdom, here it is, right? This is supposed to be the face of Christianity, the most holy of holies in Christianity, right? And look, once again here, making it seem like she's evil because she believes in the scriptures. Not saying, once again, because Esau, this could all be theatrics or whatever, what have you. More than likely this is Esau, to be fair, right? We're basically pushing this whole oh, she's evil because she believes in Leviticus 20 and 13, right? Whatever, what have you, which she doesn't even go that deep. But yeah, as always, laws will those edifying. So next time, shalom.